Hello everyone, my name is Alan from Technology Moments, and today a short video about a topic that we had been asked about for many months and we finally got the time to go around it, which is how to create a hotspot based only on Omada hardware. We're gonna be using the outstanding EAP610 from Omada, not only a very powerful and reliable access point with Wi-Fi 6, but also with an amazing range and connecting speeds. We're gonna assume you already have your network controller up and running, and of course, at least you need to have one access point in your network. Can I have an internal Wi-Fi and hotspot in the same access point? The answer is yes, and in a few moments you'll see why. Something very important is to check that your access point is up to date, especially at the time that you decide to deploy your portals. Not less important, and as simple as it looks, check twice when you have several tens of access points to have them properly named, as that will simplify management very much. As we said with Unify long ago, expect to always have more functionality and new features in terms of menus and the interface, even now that it seems very well developed and well thinked. These basic procedures may also change in a very subtle way. So going to your Windows controller and settings for the sites that you want to have the hotspot configured, go to Authentication, then select Portal, then create new portal. Give it a name and activate the portal by sliding this switch. Options and configurations will become available. That little switch, of course, makes you realize that you will have the controller always up and running if you want your portal also to be active. From the networks that you already have created, select one SSID. If you haven't created one, go to the wireless networks and create an SSID that you would like associated to your portal. Then we'll go to the authentication, which basically will be how you want your customers to interact with your Wi-Fi access. Remember, make it as easy as you'd like if you were a customer. You can select a simple password or a radius server, as we've seen before in previous videos with Unify. Let's remember that in Unify, the radius server is a role that could be played by any of the Unify Dream machines, and in this particular case, the radius server has to be a role played by another device, a device that you can call from your controller and configure with its IP and the corresponding secret key. Besides a simple password and a radius server, you can log in with Facebook. Also right now, at the beginning, we're gonna be using a hotspot that we're gonna use first with a voucher-based authentication, which will give us a lot of versatility, especially in terms of control of your network clients. It's also the most widely available and people already know how it works. Let's check it out. Be careful that if you clear the selection of vouchers as an authentication method, and it is the only portal using them, voucher codes will be deleted. This is something very important. This of course may change in the future when new releases of the firmware are available for the public. But as of now, something to keep in mind. Next, something that is widely used is the promotional URL, which is something most people want. In this case, we just type our website. You'll see how this is important once we connect in a few moments. And as for the voucher option, once checked up here, it'll activate the voucher manager, which by the way, you might want to add to your bookmarks. Well, more specifically, the hotspot manager. Here, you'll be able to create vouchers with all sorts of configurable options, and through which you'll not be able only to limit counts of usage, but also voucher duration, limit the rate at which your network clients are gonna be restricted, and many more. For this, of course, you must have a rate limit profile created. It's important to note, this is not gonna be the speed at which clients connect to the AP, but the speed at which the AP actually delivers data to the clients. Total traffic on a time basis can also be configured. This is something very useful in many scenarios. As some of you may have noticed, as of now, in this version of the controller, you first need to have completed the portal creation, so a portal may appear in the drop-down list for you to select here in the voucher manager. Something very interesting too is that for the hotspot, you can choose to have portal authentication based on a form or survey taken by your clients, an option that many were waiting for, and especially to be so easily deployed. As you can see right here, you just choose the option, add questions, create a disclaimer, and publish your newly created form, so that users that connect to that specific portal will have to take in order for them to be able to use your Wi-Fi. You may also have additional ways to authenticate, one using the Twilio API, so you can have SMS authentication enabled and the possibility of creating username and passwords for your Wi-Fi access. A lot of options available here too. Just be careful that usernames are case sensitive and the error message, of course, will not be of much help. So, either way that you choose to authenticate, we continue with our portal creation. You can customize the authentication page as you like, making it look very professional. You can select from logos and background pictures to a fully personalized, customized page. However, most of the times we found this page to be more than enough with its configurable options. Something that we have been asked for, particularly in unified portals, is the possibility of having sponsors advertising through your hotspot, and that is something that you can very easily customize right here. We'll see it in action in a few moments. Let's just continue and apply these settings so we can go back to the portal management, where depending on the authentication methods, you'll see or use these options up here. Now we have access to the voucher creation. Associate the portal. Remember that you can have several portals running in the same controller, create them with whichever parameters you need in your scenario, and save. Now, after a few minutes, you already have your hotspot running and ready to accept client connections. Needless to say, your controller has to be up and running, as we said a few moments ago, for your portals to work. Otherwise, they'll end up getting an error message as they try to connect to the network. Something important to note is that additionally to the portal restrictions, if the associated network is a guest network, clients will not be able to connect to the network resources or shares in your network. Also, very useful. There's also a way of having a pre-authentication access which, previous to any authentication in the portal, just by connecting to the Wi-Fi, clients will have access to the specific resources listed here. Also, if you were wondering, you'll be able to have, as for these EAP610 APs, up to 8 SSIDs on each band, as you can see right here. One consideration, of course, check with several different clients how your hotspot is working, and not only that, but how users interact with it. Once you connect, you can see, for example right here, how a splash advertising screen is being shown. You can skip it, you authenticate, and of course, if your parameters were successfully applied to your hotspot, redirection and bandwidth control will be applied. It is important also to check if you applied any restrictions for clients to access the network resources, that these are in effect. This is particularly useful for those having smaller networks as well as fewer hardware at your disposal, as this is something that you can also accomplish with same vendor switches using port isolations, VLANs, and network segmentation. And now, other important options that you must know, they are available. Controlling your hotspot is critical for the health of your network and for security, of course. You can always have access to all the statistics of the clients connected to your hotspot, reading their usage, and always being able to block any client you want. If you chose to have your hotspot with no authentications, it'll prompt you to sign in to the portal and continue. You'll have full control over that client too. Mac-based authentication can also be used, but as an additional feature. That doesn't mean that it'll bypass any other authentication. It must pass both. It may be convenient to add this URL to your bookmarks, as if, for example, you decided to switch from vouchers to password-free authentication, you may not find it in an easy way to go back to it. Temporarily, you may need to activate it without saving the voucher option, so this link will appear. For hotspots, a very useful tool is the wireless LAN schedule, at which you can program the Wi-Fi signal to become active and to be turned off. After a few days of using your hotspot, you may see how statistics and metrics from the controller may be helpful for successfully managing your hotspots, especially when you have hundreds of connected devices. Finally, one question that a lot of people ask is, do I need everything in my network to be Omada? The short answer is that for basic authentication and control, you'll just need the APs to be adopted by an Omada controller, and that's it. Remember that this controller can be either hardware-based, as we've seen before, or software-based, installed in a computer running Linux or Windows. We thank you for watching our videos, but most importantly, we really hope that they are of great help for whatever project you're working on. You greatly support us by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. See you next time.